We've been recognizing that we've just been talking a lot of heavy stuff. So we wanted to lighten it up today, kind of get to know us a little better and just be a little more lighthearted.
Welcome to Living God's Light, a podcast to help you strengthen your spirituality and your connection with God. We are so happy to have you as a part of the Living God's Light family.
We've been chatting back and forth for the past, 45 minutes? Oh, 30 minutes.
Yeah, about half an hour just chatting about all kinds of random stuff.
Yep, this is us not getting to the recording like we should be.
We should probably record this. No. This we should.
All right, guys. So we today wanted to lighten things up because we've been recognizing that we've just been talking a lot of heavy stuff. So we wanted to lighten it up today, kind of get to know us a little better and just be a little more lighthearted. So what do you think?
My day usually is not filled with heavy stuff. I try to fill it with as much light, both like light, but also like lighthearted, having fun. Because why not? I mean, there's a lot of stuff to enjoy in life.
Yeah. Well, I tend to do a lot of inner work. It's kind of like it's a little bit of a problem. Like I recognize it's a little bit it brings me down quite a bit. And I get stuck in just working on myself or feeling like there's more to improve. That sometimes I step away and I'm like, I've been gone in that hole for about a couple weeks. So time to pull myself out and do something I actually enjoy. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit of a flaw. It's a good thing and a bad thing. So it's fine. How about you, Vinney?
Something that I've been trying, and it's been working, is, taking my regular routine of, my life, which it's a little tight scheduled and chaotic in a bit. But I take that regular routine and I set an intention in the morning when I wake up for a very specific theme for that day. And I'll have a day that's like a peace day. I'll have a day that's a find space for stronger intuition day. Or I'll have a day where I want to see God winking at me, just sending me little winks, And I don't mean like random strangers walking up and winking at me. I mean, I'll be going on a walk and like I live in Las Vegas. We have tons of little rabbits here. At least in my community we do. And they always run as soon as they see a person. That's just kind of the thing they do, right? And that one of these days I had that. I'm walking with my dog, no less. And this little desert cottontail, which they're really cute, comes out of this sagebrush, comes right over to me with my dog like wanting to just go. But she freezes, my dog freezes and just stares. And then the bunny keeps coming closer and closer. And my first thought was, I wonder if it needs help, because that's very out of the norm for these little bunnies. And then I heard my intuition say, no, it just wants you to say you love it. And so I go, I love you, little guy. And then it just turned around and went running off. It was really cool. It was like my creator just wanted to have a little interaction. And it was on a day where I had the theme of seeing God wink at me. So, I love setting these themes. Now, does it work every time? No. But because if it doesn't work, it's because I'm not aware of where it's working. It's always going to be working. It's just a question of if I'm aware of where it's working. And when you open up even your imagination about it, you can see where it's working.
I love that. Yeah. And I'll just comment. I would just like to comment. I've watched your dog before, and I'm a little surprised your dog didn't jump in your arms very scared.
She used to be that way. She loves bunnies now. Oh, yeah. Any bunnies, any birds, she chases after them, yeah.
Me and your dog cuddled a lot because she was afraid of my dog. So
Yeah. Yeah, she was getting her sea legs under her back then. She's now much more confident with
good,
herself. Yeah.
good. So I love that like putting a theme on your day. I definitely do not do that. I cannot say that I do that. So there's sometimes that I would say I get like I have to like snap out of it sometimes. Like I need to be more intentional um so I don't like just wander away into like feeling like crap land, if that makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
we get really stuck in the first person user experience. We do. We get very stuck there, and we forget there's that whole quantum fabric going on all around us, and we're a part of it, right?
Mhm.
There's been times where my theme was, I want to be where God is winking at someone else. And I love those days probably more than the days where God's winking at me. Because little ideas will come into me. Hey, you never, after I drop off my daughter, I never do anything but just go home usually. But I got this idea once. Hey, go buy somebody gas. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And something so simple completely changed my day. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Like something so simple. But it's putting that intention when I wake up. That's a big part of it. And I'm not super good at it. I just remember to do it once in a while, which is probably about a couple times a week. Yeah.
A couple times a week. Okay, I got some room for improvement.
It'd be great if I could remember it every day, really. Yeah. If I was in a high vibrational state every day, I'd
I was just
probably
gonna
remember
say
it every day.
like, can we possibly be in that space every single day? Don't we got to come down to remember that how high we are? In a way.
It's possible. It's possible.
All right, I believe you. I choose to believe you.
Yeah.
How about you, Lynn? What inspires you?
So I don't really do themes so much, but I love learning new things. I love creativity. You probably noticed I've been working on my background. So I had a couple options since I do all this recording in my office. I could have set up a little workshop back there and then it would have been constantly messy. I was like, I want to be kind of fun. And I was actually nervous about doing some of these things, but fortunately, Vinney and Alyssa were like, just be authentic you and it'll all be great. So I got another big piece with my background. And there so many, I went through dozens of options and finally settled on this one. But it's the creativity, but I also see as the things that I do on a daily basis are also part of that creative. They're not all fun, but they all have to be done. But I remind myself that I'm still creating something when I'm doing that. But I also like to take time out to reflect. I've got a really so there's a big open field out my office window right now, and sometimes I'll just stare out and look at the hills. The other day there was a red-tailed hawk just flying around low over the field, and it was so cool. So as far as inspiring things, I love new experiences. And one of the things I started doing, so I also play a lot of computer games. Sometimes with my kids, it's a way to connect with my kids, but also it's just a way for me to disconnect and kind of decompress after a full day of doing things. And a game I've been playing lately has an element of it where you take some time and pause, and it'll say reflect on, and it'll give a word. And then you compose a haiku. It gives you options of words. So you're like choosing, but that has now inspired me. I now have on my list. So I've got a task list of things. And one of the things I put on my list every day is to think about composing a haiku.
Wow.
So something I like about that is it's simple, it's easy to do, but it also gives me a chance to do a deeper reflection. And also, since I'm a writer, how do you express these emotions that you're feeling or the thoughts that you're thinking in a way? Because usually haikus, they pull nature in. And so, how can you do an analogy of what you're feeling with what you see out the window or what you see in nature? And what are the similarities? And you can get really deep with that. And I find that it engages both sides of my brain and also my personality with the thinking, the deep feeling, and also the appreciation of nature and expressing the deep emotions.
So I don't mean to be ignorant, and I truly
Mhm.
believe there's no stupid questions, so I'm gonna ask anyway.
Ask away, please.
Um, what exactly is a haiku? And can you give me an example of one?
Oh.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. So the structure of a haiku is 3 lines, and some of this is anglicized a little bit. So 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a haiku.
That's pretty constrained.
It is.
Mhm.
But sometimes working in a constraint like that is where the creativity can come alive.
Right, because
Yes.
you've got an idea that you want to express, but it forces you to be concise, which I often am not.
Mhm.
They say I'm a man of few words until I open my mouth. Um,
Wait, is that what we spent the last 30 minutes on before we started recording?
yeah,
Just kidding, Lynn. I love you.
yeah, be careful what you ask because I may not stop talking. Um, but anyway, as far as an example, I'd have to look one up because I really couldn't do
Hey,
it.
that's all right. That's all right. But you've
Yeah,
explained it enough that like
yeah, but and they're generally meant to incorporate nature. So you describe nature, but the underlying feeling and intent uh, conveys something deeper.
okay. Okay.
So you may talk about the mountain and the river and the stream and the way like if thinking about time and the way that time flows, you could be describing the flow of a river and somebody may not understand exactly what you're talking about until they have that context. And then they're
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
so
And I think you being a writer, that like totally makes sense that lights you up. That's
yeah.
cool.
Well, and I love philosophy. I love a lot of things. And so it's a way to also bring a bunch of pieces together. But I also have talking about the things. There's as far as the inspiring. Several years ago, I read a book called Five, and there's one page in the book. Two goes actually across two pages, and it's a question that changed me, changed my life. Is what it said was, "When was the last time you did something for the first time?"
You've asked me that question before.
Yeah, it's a powerful. And I thought about it. It's like I don't know because I've done a lot. I've been a lot of places and done a lot of really fun stuff. And I realized I didn't know the last time I had done something for the first time, and it was like, oh my goodness, I've died and didn't even realize it.
Mhm.
And so I committed then and there that every year until I die, I'm going to do something for the first time.
Wow. You're gonna try a lot of stuff.
Hopefully. Well, actually, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like,
Oh, so what did you try this year? We're still at the beginning of the year. What is like your hope to
well, I've
try this
still
year?
got. I haven't totally figured it out. But
Some years you plan it out though, huh? Some years you plan it out like months in advance.
oh yeah, like last year it was. I've for 40 years I wanted to swim with dolphins, and
Wait, you did that.
I did that last year. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep, and then several years ago, after we moved to Utah, there's an island out here called Antelope Island where they have a bunch of bison, and every year they have a bison roundup where you can go and you got to bring your own horse. I had a friend who had a horse, and we went out and we just rounded up bison on an island.
You were a cowboy.
Uh huh.
That's awesome. Fighter pilot, cowboy, next knitter. Just kidding.
Hmm.
It's
But
very relaxing, by the way.
I believe it. But it doesn't have to be something. It has to be something meaningful to me.
Absolutely.
But like things that I want to do for the first time. I've never been to the redwoods in California. That would count. I want to go there. A couple years ago, I went through Zion National Park for the first time, and that was impressive enough that it counted. Um, yeah, so anything that just makes my heart sing and makes me go, "Wow, this is cool."
Yeah.
So,
What about you, Vinny? What's something you've tried recently that like has been an aha?
Hmm.
This is awesome for me.
A lot of my discoveries I do in the metaphysical. I really do. I sometimes get done with one night and I'll look back and think, there's no way all that just happened.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, how do I explain what just happened? It's really neat. Sometimes I get done with, the Spirit's really funny. It'll work with me. Like we were talking earlier, it woke me up at 4:44 this morning for me to go study something. And I'm like, really? That's not something you want to get from anybody, to wake up that early. Now I wake up at 5-ish anyway.
Vinney,
So that wasn't
time to wake up and go study.
But I will say I'm glad they did, because it was something that was just announced yesterday, new technology, and it does change the rules of how we exist in our
Okay, hold
space.
on. You're like saying it without saying it. Just give a snippet so somebody can go look for it if they want to.
Well, it's just the way that the data processes and processors themselves work. It's a totally new way. In fact, if you look at Gene Roddenberry, the guy who wrote Star Trek, okay, he always talked about a future where the clothing, the food, all of that could be just replicated in a second, okay, in the right replicator. Until recently, that was impossible. As of yesterday, we're on the right path to actually having that be a reality. Now, that's some kids, who watched Star Trek as a kid, excited way of processing or seeing that. But there's more to it. There's actually a spiritual, energetic element to it as well. And just like anything, we could hurt ourselves just as well as help ourselves with this. So it's going to be interesting to see how the world goes with this. But it was just an announcement from the technology sector, but from a company that people love and hate. So we won't go there with them.
Okay, that's fine. People can go.
One of the things I want to that I point this out is this gets to your reality is what you make of it, and you kind of create the space you live in. So there's always horrible things going on in the world, but there are also always wonderful things going on in the world. And the emotions that you carry in your heart throughout the day are really a matter of what you decide to focus on. Because there is so much reason for optimism, and this is an amazing time to be alive. And you can either be weighed down by the baggage, or you can be inspired by the progress. And depending on what numbers you're looking at and what you choose to bring into your life, that determines what level of emotion you're feeling. And if you want something different than what you're feeling on a daily basis, do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look for something different. Yeah. What you look for, you will find.
Yeah.
If you look for, giant organizations out to get you, you're going to find them.
Yeah.
If you look for God to inspire you, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Like now here's what's crazy. Both those things exist in our world. They do. Whether we want to admit it or not, they do.
Yeah.
But what we look for, we will find.
Yeah.
So look for some good stuff.
Yeah, there's so much available, and the world is so complex and so dynamic and so changing that there is literally something for everyone out there. And like Vinney said, whatever you look for, you're going to find it. And don't feel like, and this is one of the key things, don't feel like if you feel good about life and existence, that you are dismissing those that are having problems. It's not the way that it works. But realize that by increasing your energetic level, your vibration, that's going to invite other people to climb with you.
It will.
So,
if you hit a tuning fork and you walk into any space with frequency measuring equipment on everything in that space, okay? Walking into that space with a tuning fork vibrating or oscillating at its frequency, you are changing everywhere you go. But notice that if you lower your frequency, it's the same.
Some of those,
So
I've
find
seen
a
some
way
of
to,
those.
find a ways to raise your frequency.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. They're just short clips you can find. That one tuning fork starts another tuning fork, and that's
They
pretty
sell
cool.
these really big ones, okay? These big, massive tuning forks, right? And you have to hit them with a big gong or a big mallet. You hit it and go put it near like a shelf full of crystal. And the whole thing will just be like this, right? You go and do the same thing and put it near water, and you'll watch just the water make all these beautiful patterns. And then you can go to I came from the audio industry, more than a lifetime ago, because it was before I died. And I was very into the car audio sector. Every car I had, my stereo was worth more than my car. And that was just kind of the thing of that age.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a car that when I had a song going, my actual frame of my doors would warp, and it would look like spaghetti noodles. Even if I rolled a window down, I would shatter my window. I shattered 3 windows.
Oh my God.
So I had to make sure that I kept my windows up. Otherwise, that frequency would oscillate so much, that window, and it would literally, you could watch it. There's videos online. You can see this. The frame of the car door goes like this, like a spaghetti noodle. That's what
are you
happens
jamming
when
to?
frequencies are on there. Deep bass. Back then, it was all about the bass. You were rocking huge magnets on your subs, and you'd have to have 1 amp per sub. That's the size of system that you would have. It was
You and Josh
huge
would have
systems.
just had a killer time
Oh,
together.
I know. I once had my car stolen, and then I got it back, and I knew that the stereo was going to be gone, and I didn't care about the car at all. I was just like, I want my stereo back. It's all about priorities, right?
Right? Like, that's you going down the street. There comes Vinney again.
And back then, insurance companies wouldn't give you coverage worth more than your car for your stereo system.
No
Isn't that
way.
weird?
Put that baby in yourself.
Nope.
Too funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love sound though. I love sound, and
Sound is
that's a
cool.
big. And sound is us. We are carbon based. Our bodies are carbon based anyway. Our souls obviously not, but our body is. That means we're crystalline. We oscillate.
Wow.
We have frequency. We have megahertz. So it's, we can raise that frequency when we're in a loving, authentic state. And that's what's really neat, is one of the highest frequencies your body can emit is authenticity. That's pretty amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's healing. Yeah. Okay, one of you needs to ask me what inspires me.
Alyssa, what inspires you?
Sorry. Here's me being authentic and wanting you to just ask me a question.
That's being authentically ignorant.
That's all right.
Well, what does inspire you?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. So I was sitting here thinking, like, I get in these slumps because I go so inward, and I'm like, I just am trying to learn about myself and be objective and just try and be curious about why I do things, that sometimes I just slump down because I'm learning about myself. And now I'm starting to learn what pulls me out, right? And one thing that is like an instant cure is a dance party in my house.
That's
You
awesome.
two should try it because I know you won't.
I have a 4-year-old. It happens all the time here. It's a question of, do I join in or not? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But, like authentically moving your body like a child does is like just letting it just move however it wants. It's something happens in my body that just like, whoo, the creativity can just let loose. And because I do all the back end editing and all that, sometimes I really live by structure. Like, I need my schedule to be this so that I can be with my kids this, and it's very structured. And sometimes if things fall out of that structure, I like get mentally messed up. But The best thing I've found lately is humor to like just
Mhm.
bring it back. Like, it's all good, Alyssa. This isn't that big a deal, you know? And a recent comedian I've found, he's from the UK. His name's Michael McIntyre. And have you guys ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
No. Well,
I haven't.
he's hilarious. And so just my real life, he talks about being a parent and kids, and he's good. Okay, one last thing.
Is he the guy that somebody died while watching him? I think he is. Yeah.
Really?
I heard
don't
about
know
that he's that funny. He's that funny.
He really is hilarious. Just so relatable, and his delivery method is awesome. And I found him on social media, and so I've just been, watching his stuff because it just makes me feel like lighter. It's
Mhm.
funny how humor does that.
Yeah. Me
yeah.
and Lynn love Nate Bargatze.
Oh,
We love Brian Regan.
have you ever seen Nate Bargatze live, like me?
No, I
Very
have
nice.
not.
I'm not that cool.
Just kidding.
Um,
Oh, he's
So,
amazing.
Alyssa, you had one other thing you were going to mention on that.
Okay, I'm gonna share, and
Please.
hopefully nobody gives me a hard time. But art, I painted this. Let's see if I can get my camera to. There we go. Oh no.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
This was
There we go. Focused. There we
There
go.
you go. There you go.
There we go. There's
That
my
looks
art.
awesome.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love
So
it. Yeah,
I haven't been doing art as much recently, but
I was going to ask you about that at the beginning, but I didn't want to put you on the spot. But
I'm happy to share.
yeah,
Because
you
you
were.
know what? I came to the realization why I could actually get into art is that it is so subjective. I've seen some art that I went, how'd you get paid for that?
Yep.
And if I allowed somebody's opinion to dictate how I do art, then I'm not doing it for me at all. So I can share. And if somebody wants to criticize it, that's actually more about them. It's not about me. So yeah.
It is subjective. It's all subjective. It is.
Yeah.
What I love is what art does for the creator. That's what I love. I really love
like God. Is that what you
for
mean?
you, for the
Oh, for me.
artist. No,
Yes,
for
yes,
you.
yes.
You're the creator of
Yeah.
that art, right? But in creating art, what are you doing? You're channeling the universe through your paintbrush, right?
It's true.
And that's where art becomes very important to me. Is I've walked in a gallery and I've actually felt the feelings, not just as an empath, because I am an empath, but I walk in there and I feel the feelings of that artist. And I feel that they were able to let go and leave on the page something that they'd been holding their whole life.
Yeah.
But it is subjective. I have a client that is higher up in the art world, and he was so cocky about how his consumers would just eat up anything he did.
Mhm.
He's like, watch, I'll just put my shoe over here and put a label on it that's my artwork for the day, and it'll get sold by tonight. And sure enough, it had.
Wow.
At a very top dollar. And it was just his shoe he'd been wearing for I don't know how many years. It was like a Converse sneaker, all paint all over it and totally tattered. And but here's what's neat about that.
Shoe.
But that's what's cool. Like, somebody who's a fan of his is like, oh, he's been painting all these paintings wearing that shoe. That's intrinsic value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all about what it brings for the end user, what it brings for you, the emotion, the feeling. I love art, all forms of art. I love carpentry. Carpentry is an art.
Yeah.
Masonry is an art.
Yeah.
I even plumbing and electrical, coming from my construction background, I've walked in buildings, and ever since I had my experience, I would be just amazed at some good work that I saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after my experience, I'd come in, I'd hear like a harmony of a frequency in the building.
Really?
And I'm like, oh wow, they've really buttoned this place up and thought of everything and really programmed systems for everything.
Yeah.
And laid it out exactly how it's optimally laid out. So it's really neat to see that all forms of creation are art in the world.
So
Even building, especially building.
Yeah.
Something else that has inspired me, actually, this incorporates both of you and the inspiration both of you have given to me. So, Alyssa, with your art, the fact that you're doing it, I mean, first of all, I love what you produce. It's gorgeous. I
Thank
love the color. I mean, I'm not going to spend all the time telling you again how much I love it.
you. You're so
But
nice.
the fact that you're doing it inspires me.
Mhm.
And Vinny, I thought of you. So I'm building a window bench so I can sit and write and look out the window and be that much closer. But as I'm building it myself, so I'm cutting the wood and everything else and painting. And this I learned from Vinny. As I'm putting this together, I am actively grateful for the tree that this wood came from. And I'm grateful for the form it's in now. And I'm grateful for the wood. And I'm putting all these, so I've got gratitude for each piece. And this piece is part of the creation. And really, these pieces that I'm working with are working with me in creating this thing I'm going to be grateful for when it's all put together. But I know that
Have you painted it
gratitude.
yet?
What's that?
Have you painted it yet?
I started painting yesterday.
Is there still some raw wood?
Yes, a little.
Okay, write some really cool words right there,
That's
Okay.
yeah.
and then
do that.
paint over it. I've done that in houses.
Yeah. So it's just primed. I could write something.
Oh yeah,
And then
Yeah.
paint it.
Love that.
and
Actually, I
then
could
that
write.
energy goes into it. It's really cool.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. But that reminds me, there was a friend of mine. One of their kids had a desk down in their basement, and the kid over the years wrote in Sharpie on the bottom of the desk. And it was cool and interesting years later to see those messages and the thoughts. It was almost like a little time capsule.
Mhm.
So even if here's something else I could do, because part of it's going to be up against the wall, even if it's fully painted, I could still write on that, and that's the part that goes up against the wall.
Yeah.
Or I could just write on it things that I will see.
Oh yeah. You
Mhm.
could put stencils. You get stencils for it, for the words you could see. But what I love is putting that energy in there, either hidden or visible, either way. It's very, very effective. If you follow a gal named Veda Austin, she does the work of Professor Emoto, who is studying the effects of words and water. And she takes it a whole nother layer where water has memory.
Mhm.
And so that wood, your even fiberboard, it will have memory of what you're putting on it, and it will stay. Even if you move or sell that house, it'll resonate there. I love that.
I love that too. You lighten my where can I do that in my house to
On your paintbrushes.
You can do it. You can get that glow paint that nobody can see unless you put a black light on it. So you could go around your whole house and put stuff.
Well, I'm thinking I love the idea of under the desk, put under my desk, focus.
There you go. That would work.
And I mean
And,
that
and then
lightheartedly.
for the O, make the O a heart.
Oh, I love it.
There you go.
All right. I don't want you guys to leave anything off the table. Is there anything else that inspires you that you want to share? And then I have one last question.
I want to say this. All of you inspire me. Everyone inspires me. The work that I do, you two. I feel like I always joke around that Lynn is the string and I'm the balloon. But it actually is now feeling more like, Alyssa, you have this connection between the two of us where you're like a hybrid of both of us. And I love every person that I come and work with. I worked with a lady yesterday that in her 71 years, she had never allowed herself to receive a single kind word.
Aw.
And I love that I got to help her learn how to say kind words and receive kind words to herself.
Yeah.
And in doing so, I was teaching me that too. I was teaching, and now respectively the audience here, that all of you inspire me.
Yeah. I agree. I feel those words. I do a lot of the back end editing and posting and all that. YouTube. I'm seeing the comments, and it is inspiring to want to continue to be inspiring. And that's just making me a better person. And I hope it's just this beautiful back and forth exchange that we're doing, here. It's really cool. And Vinney, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah. Especially right now with your computer messing up. You need a little inspiration.
Yeah, a little backstory.
Thanks for your computer tech, Josh, who's helping us out all the time too.
Yes, but seriously. I've been having some technical stuff and it's been consuming some time. So these guys had to hear about it. How about you, Lynn? Anything else you want to just...
I would say when I'm in the right frame of mind, everything I see is inspiring. When I'm in that frame of mind, because even obstacles and challenges, and I learned a lot of this, the military kind of creates that environment where you learn that obstacles, like rocks, big boulders in your way, they're either things you can smash yourself against, or you can use them to climb higher.
Ooh, that hits hard.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like obstacles are a chance to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to see who you really are.
Yeah.
And if you are excited about obstacles, I love that. You're a warrior of light. Yeah.
Speaking of warriors of light. Okay, this is my last question. How can people, if they're feeling inspired by this episode, hearing what inspires us, what can they do to get plugged in to living God's light?
So I would say, first of all, personally, on an internal level, individually, stop judging your authentic self. If there's something that brings you joy and inspires you, don't fall prey to what other people might think about it. Just run with it. Use it to uplift yourself and others. And then as far as getting connected, we are working on ways to expand the community where it's not just us, but you can find people in your area. And that area could be virtually, could be an online connection. We just started that with the facilitated groups. And as we test that and work out some more things with that, I'm hoping, I'm not going to put a timeline on it. I stopped doing that because I don't have complete control over it. But so I'll just say two things. One, look for things that we're going to be rolling out in the hopefully near future to expand interaction and connection. But also just don't wait for us. Look for ways to build that own your own community, build your own circle of light.
Yeah.
And then when we have the way to connect everybody, you've already got that group that you can fold in and we'll just magnify it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the exact same. Be a nucleus of light wherever you are. Understand that there is a creator. It doesn't have to be the religious version that maybe you grew up learning about, but a real creator, one that created you with your imperfections and loves you because you are what you were created to be, imperfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just add to, I've felt the difference. I have felt the difference of wanting to have light around me, and it feels like I just keep attracting more light now, and it's really cool. One last way that I want to offer, we are having a conference that is coming up. We plan on doing it yearly. Please go find that. We'll have it down in the show notes, but you belong here. Like, you really do belong in this community, and the exchange that we just keep having back and forth is really, really cool. If you are feeling inspired, listen to that. Somebody's talking to you, And we just are so grateful that you are here with us. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Yep. We love you.
Love you.
We love you.
Thank you for joining us on the Living God's Light podcast. You can help keep the show going through getting merch at livinggodslight.com or contributing what you think the show is worth on our website or by going through Patreon. Thank you for sharing your light with the world. You are making a difference, and we love you.